Sajin Komamura's sacrifice against Bankai is one of those often overlooked moments from the Thousand Year Blood War arc. Some say his character was wasted, or didn't see the point in his sacrifice. Komamura is very complex, and probably one of Kubo's lore-richest Shinigami. In my opinion, Kubo has a tendency to write characters, then stories. Everyone has a purpose to their placement and actions. For example, Bankai's role is to show just how far gone the enemy Quincy can be. Up until that point, we've seen Stern Ritter who fought for strategic reasons or personal vendettas, but with Bankai, we see sadism. She also, if you notice, marks a turning point where the war arc grows darker, revealing that many of Yhwach's elite are more monster than human in mentality. And if you want to show your human heart, please subscribe, drop a like, and turn on alerts. We're growing here at Cafe Zealot. I am officially partnered, and that's not possible without you. I'm a one-man workshop figuring out this algorithm, getting seen in the big sea of other anime content creators. It can be a mountain to climb over, but this is what I love. And if you love Bleach, heartfelt anime analysis, and anime content made with passion, you want to be here. On the other side of the coin from Bankai is of course Sajin, the wolf of the Goatee 13. Komamura's story is rich with symbolism drawn from Japanese folklore and Buddhist philosophy. So much about him is misunderstood, like his final Bankai. There's not a bit of wasted ink in creating Sajin. His exchange of heart was not a meaningless trade for power. Once you understand his lineage, the meaning behind his name, and the Buddhist and Shinto philosophies embedded in his character, you will see the truth of Sajin's sacrifice and the tragedy of loyalty.
You must offer up your heart. With your own hand, you tear out your heart and you offer it up to me.
I believe Ojiji-sama's jubilation and Sajin's actions comes from his understanding that their family cannot atone for their sins by attaching themselves to the humanity they already lost. Ojiji-sama's philosophy was grounded in the awareness that they are guests in a realm they do not belong to. Their concerns are not those of men. There are 6 paths of rebirth in the karmic cycle of life. First, there's the Deva realm, which represents the Goatee 13 in noble houses. Then the Ashura realm, which can be seen as the Rokungai. Then the human realm, which is Earth, or in this story, Karakura Town. Then we have the Chikashodo, which is the animal realm. Then we have the Hungry Ghost realm, which is Wako Mundo. And then of course, the 6th realm, which represents Hell, the final realm of suffering. Sajin and his clan represent the path of beast, or in Buddhist terms, they fell into the Chikashodo, the animal realm, also known as the Hell of Beast. Their fall wasn't enough, and they were exiled into Soul Society, hiding on the outskirts of the Rokungai, far from the other souls. Symbolically, they've broken the karmic cycle, but not through enlightenment. They exist out of place, in exile. Ojiji-sama's warning to Sajin about leaving feels more like a caution against the rejection of consequence. Komamura rejected that fate, but exile is the price of his clan's karma. Atonement doesn't come through external acceptance, but through internal understanding, or in Buddhist terms, through suffering.
What an idiot you are. If you want to die so badly, I'll help you!
No, Sajin.
Buddhism teaches us that beings tied to the path of beast have little capacity for self-reflection or moral reasoning. They live lives of exploitation or servitude. Sajin's exploitation can be seen through his bond with Tozen. Tozen, who was blind, once told Komamura he sensed goodness in his heart. He became one of the first to truly accept him for who he was. Sajin's belief in loyalty and Tozen's belief in justice tied them together through a bond built on trust. But that trust will be tested. Sajin believed in Tozen, not necessarily Tozen's beliefs. Sajin had suspicions about Tozen from the very beginning, but he trusted him implicitly. And I believe that's where the misconception around their friendship comes from. In chapter 138, it's very subtle, but you can already see the division in their values. Tozen is committed to helping Aizen, believing it to be the path of least bloodshed, while corrupted, jaded, and blinded to reality. Tozen did have real issues with Soul Society and Central 46. From the start, their motives were different, their philosophies were never aligned. For Tozen, Sajin is everything he hates, loyal to a corrupt system, and exploitable because of it. Their battle in Fate Karakura Town covers ideals related to loyalty versus justice, duty versus personal truth, the cost of idealism. Sajin only knows loyalty to people, and due to Tozen's betrayal of him and those people, he will slay him for Soul Society. He is a true wolf, or dog in that sense. Sajin only understands the pack. He can't accept Tozen's hatred of the system or betrayal, because his loyalty is to the enforcer of the system, Captain Yamamoto.
So I abandoned my clan and lived a life of shame until Master Genri Yusai took me in. Now I must fulfill my duty to do whatever it takes to avenge his death.
As we know, Sajin and his clan represent the path of beast, and Kubo's choice of canines is intentional. Sajin is a nod to the Komainu of Shintoism. Typically, Komainu come in pairs. The one on the right represents rebirth. The one on the left, that one Kubo gave life to through Sajin. Let's break down his name. Sa, left. Jin, battle formation or encampment. Koma, guardian lion dog, or as in Komainu. And then Mura, village. Komamura Sajin can be interpreted as left battle line of the guardian lion dog village. The left guardian dog is associated with death, or in this case, a Shinigami. Sajin only exists for the captain commander. As he states in his own words, the only debt of gratitude he acknowledges is to Genryosai Shigekuni Yamamoto, who discovered and accepted him despite his appearance. This act of acceptance forged Komamura's unbreakable loyalty. Sajin is massive, but has the ability to go unseen in a room. Just like the way he moves through the story. He's present, he has panel time, but he's often overlooked. But has these character-defining moments. His fight with Kenpachi, that shows the distinction between him and Tozen, someone loyal to the system versus someone loyal to an ideal. Why would Sajin use his Bankai on someone who isn't an enemy? The eagerness of Tozen to act on principle already starts showing the holes and the contradictions of their friendship. Komamura was used to show the power gap between captains with Aizen. He was the first to arrive on the scene in one of my favorite panels. Aizen's actions had an immense effect over Sajin. As a captain, his role during the Arrancar arc, it was great in my opinion. His Bankai landed in a one-and-done finisher. He stepped in for his subordinates. Explaining Sajin's loyalty and why he was fated to sacrifice himself comes down to one pivotal line. When Tozen asks, what kind of person joins an organization that murdered his friend? At first glance, it sounds like the question of a madman trying to justify his betrayal, but the real weight of the moment is in the fact that Sajin doesn't have an answer. It's not just silence, it's his inability to reason, even if he doesn't agree. He can't understand the logic because his identity is built entirely around loyalty to the captain commander. What the captain lived and died for is what he will live and die for. That blind loyalty, his unwavering commitment to servitude, is what leads us to Sajin versus Bankai. Understanding the ideals and foundation Sajin stands on, we can finally examine the truth of his sacrifice and his failure to learn from his own words to Tozen about the cost of revenge.
So disappointing. There's no doggy even inside your Bankai? Or wait, could it be that there's a doggy hiding under that monster's face?
Driven by vengeance, Komamura rips out his heart, transforming into a human-wolf hybrid warrior with a fading immortal body. A heartless human, a symbol of ascension without enlightenment. The chains of sin he broke were the limitations of being born from the animal realm. But there is no escape from karma. The exchange of heart and enlightenment for rage and power seals Sajin's fate, a return to the animal path. This is echoed in his Bankai. Komamura's Bankai, Kukojo Tegan Mio, its name translates to something akin to the Wisdom King of Black Rope Heavenly Judgment. The black rope, it's not random. In Buddhist symbolism, it represents karmic bondage, the sins and attachments that tie the soul to suffering. The Wisdom King is a wrathful protector deity, a force of divine punishment. And in Komamura's case, this divine punishment cuts both ways. It reflects the heart of his loyalty, Genryosai Yamamoto, the one man he served without question, but it also reflects Komamura's karmic flaws, his inability to question that loyalty, his shame, and his denial of self. Yes, he defeats Bankai, but that cost is irreversible. He loses his humanity and returns to his clan's original beastly form. I like to view Sajin versus Bankai as a philosophical exploration of the difference between indulgence and sacrifice. Bankai's indulgence is chaotic, rooted in instability and ego. She's the type of soul destined for Buddhist hell. But Komamura, he's not evil. He's loyal, which makes him ignorant. And in Buddhism, ignorance is a form of suffering. Instead of hell, he's reborn into the animal realm, the path of beast, where instinct overrides reason and where loyalty without reflection becomes a curse. Neither indulgence nor sacrifice is inherently evil, but indulgence without morality breeds destruction, and sacrifice without wisdom leads to ruin, and that's the fate of the Captain Commander's dog. Sajin was far from a wasted character. I do believe it goes back to my original reason. He is so steeped in Japanese lore and Buddhist philosophy, he's really hard to access past the surface level, unless you really dig into the finer details of Bleach. But Kubo's writing isn't surface level, so that's the level of depth that should be expected when you pick up a copy of Bleach. But when Kubo's rushed, he still outshines a lot of other mangaka. Sajin is one of my favorites. He is duty-bound, loyal to a fault, but always a pleasure every time he appears on screen. He failed to live up to his words to Tozen. But a dog's loyalty to their master knows no bounds. It almost feels like an allegory for the domestication of wolves into dogs. He may not have been the strongest captain, but he was one of the best. A true dog, or wolf, of the Goatee 13. Thank you all for checking out my analysis of Sajin. It was a real pleasure diving back through the story and seeing just how present he was in each arc leading up to that final moment. I've rambled on long enough. Now I want to know, what do you think about Sajin, and who would you like to see me cover next? Or maybe there's a part of Bleach you've always wanted explained. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'm taking note of all your suggestions, so stay tuned. Your request might be the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and turn on alerts. That's all from the cafe. Peace out, Zealots.